Hi, my name is Lilly, and welcome to TsChitChat. This March, as Sydney celebrates gay and lesbian Mardi Gras, and we think it's a good time to go back to the basic and doing a long interview and telling Australian trans story. This episode, me and Catalina is sitting down with our special guest, Rhea. How are you, Rhea?
Good, thanks.
Yes. You are a good friend of me and Catalina?
Yes.
Okay. So, can we know about your background?
Yeah, sure. What would you like to know?
Well, where do you grow up?
Blue Mountains, New South Wales. Went to school there and then left there when I was about 16. Went to the outskirts of Sydney for a while and then up to Newcastle. Lived in Newcastle for about 5-6 years.
Okay. And then when you start to come out and play?
When I was about 18, my family had moved to Newcastle, and so I went up and stayed with them for a bit, and then got a job, and then from there I ventured out, and just being the person I am, just got on buses and sightseeing, and stumbled onto the gay scene.
Really?
Yes. So I would go there, get the bus in, have my $50, go for a couple of hours and get the last bus home.
So back then, what is the gay scene like?
Well, in Newcastle there was only one place, one nightclub, and it was open till about 1.
So it's actually a gay nightclub?
Yeah, it was. It's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there, and the first time I went there, sat there as a boy and watched these shows. I went, ooh, isn't this fascinating? First drag show I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Then from there I'd go once a week and I started meeting people and all that.
So for your first time, you didn't meet any big bad wolf?
No.
So when you start to meet people?
Well, I just went there. It was like Newcastle back then, and we're talking 28 years ago. Back then, Newcastle was, well, I said there was only one place, so everyone sort of knew everyone.
Yeah.
So you'd see the same people Friday and Saturday night and all that.
Then you start to know everyone.
Yeah, you start to get to know people and all that. And I hung around with this group. It was this gay guy, this lady, and this grandma.
Oh.
And I hung around them and we got known as the Addams family.
Okay.
So yeah, from there, that's when I sort of met people and everything. And then...
And then when you start to, do you tell people at school to know you are gay or what?
Well, growing up, I was always girly at school. Always was bashed. I went to a blue light disco, I was bashed. I was bashed at school, I was just bashed.
What do you mean get bashed?
Well, boys would just hit me because I was a bit femme.
Yeah. Just because they consider you sissy?
Well, yes. I didn't do the boy things. And I hung around with the girls. I had 2 sisters and a mother, so there was no father. And I just hung around with girls all the time, so I was easy to be picked on. I didn't know how to fight.
Really?
No.
This is the late 80s or early 90s?
Yeah, in the 80s, yeah.
The 80s.
Yeah, and I had girlfriends at school. My biggest thing was holding their hands, that was it.
Okay.
I kissed a couple of them. A couple dumped me because they said I was frigid because I wouldn't...
Oh, really? So you mean you have some heterosexual experience?
Well, no, like I said, I had...
Like cuddling heterosexual experience?
Yeah, but outside the school, I was with the boys.
Okay.
Giving them good party times.
But do you know that from really young that you are...
Well, apparently my auntie knew at the age of 5.
What about yourself?
Well, to me, I just thought it was natural.
Yeah. It's just you?
Yeah, it was just me. To me, it was natural and all that. I thought that's what most people did. And, I said, at school the boys would hit me, but outside of school it would be a different story when I stayed at their place.
Yeah, exactly.
But what happens when after they bash you, they hit you? What happened? You tell your parents?
It just became It was just the norm.
Yeah, I was
My
gonna
my sister's a year under me. She'd bash them, or if not, the girls would bash them. You know, it was just part of life. I just got bashed. I just was bashed.
You just take it. You just take it. You didn't.
Yeah, well, I couldn't fight. You know, they'd be hitting me and I'd be scrunched down or whatever. I just couldn't even fight my way out of a wet paper bag back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just copped it.
Yeah. But let me ask you one question. If you can go back at that time, will you do anything different?
Well, I don't think so, because it's all a learning experience. You know, there's a number of times to say, look, if my life was different, if I'd done this, this, and this, but that's where you learn from things. If you go back and change your life, I might not be where I am now. So there's better off not changing anything. It's just you learn from it. And, you know, there's some bad things that happens to all of us.
Yeah, I know.
And you just go, I wish that didn't happen. I wish that didn't happen. But that's how you learn to deal with life and everything, is by these experience.
So do you start to learn how to run away from those boys when they're coming?
Yes, yes. And
if you cannot fight, I think the best thing is learn how to run.
Yeah, or in the end I just stood there and just copped it, because I went, just copped it. But then when I became a tranny, I just went, that's it, no one's ever going to hit me again. I got hit a few times. I got raped a couple of times. But
during those times?
Being a tranny, yes. But that's when it was like when I first met. I was staying with my mum, and her husband just absolutely hated me because I wasn't a blokey bloke. I was too much of a femme Sheila, and he just hated me from the word dot. And then told me to get out of the house. I went and saw my mum. She was pregnant, and I ended up being there at the end of the bed watching her bring my brother into the world while he was at home. So I saw that, so I just went, that's something you can't take away from me. But I could go and visit my mum, but that was it. I wasn't allowed to stay there. And I said I was a boy, so here I am, staying with a friend, and here we are trying to be so butch at a building site, working on a building site to raise money so we could go and live in Queensland. And here I am with the wheelbarrow going,
Hi boys!
I'm trying to do this, and then tip and I go, ooh. So that was hard work, but I went, this is too much for me. So we did that, lived in Queensland.
Oh wow.
So that's when you start to move from Newcastle to Queensland?
Yeah, we went to Queensland for a while, me and two boys, and those boys stayed at home and did nothing, and I had 3 jobs.
Oh wow.
And then a friend died, so I come back to Newcastle.
But how about coming out? Do you feel much more comfortable about yourself?
In Queensland, back in Queensland, you had to. It wasn't so open back then because the laws back then.
Oh,
yeah,
true.
Yeah, the laws were so
yeah,
very homophobic.
Yeah.
Yes, so it was sort of like underground sort of stuff back then. There was always that poofter bashing in parks and everything, so you had to watch yourself. And I remember once coming home. The boys were at home, and I'm coming home one night. This guy just pulled me over a fence and just pulled me down, and attacked me and tried to rape me and all that along the highway.
Oh really?
Yes.
Really?
And then after Queensland, you come back to
New South Wales. Back to Newcastle, and I ended up moving in with a friend of mine, a friend of a friend. I moved in with her and her daughter, and then that's when I met. Was a transsexual. She'd only been a transsexual about 8 months.
Oh really? Okay.
And I hit it off. That time it was coming up to Christmas, and I needed money, so I popped on a dress and went and worked the streets doing pocket money.
Okay.
And then,
and what time? How old are you during this time?
No, just before I was 18.
Wow.
So
So are you always want to be a girl? Because not all gay guys want to be a girl,
Yeah, but I never saw myself as gay.
Okay.
I never saw myself as gay,
Yeah, same, yeah.
I was just unfortunately just born in the wrong body.
Yeah.
To me, the outside was male, but the inside was female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. And then
I can understand it, because a lot of people, they are feminine, but they
Yes.
don't think they are a girl.
Yes.
Like us, we think we are a girl.
Yeah.
That's why we are feminine.
Well, I look back at now and I was lost, just didn't know where I belong in society in this earth and went, what's going on? Like a lot of transsexuals thought, oh, is it just me? Is it just me? Am I the only one that feels this?
Yeah, that's exactly.
And then I said, like, we started hanging around and put on my first dress and, the first time I get in that bathtub, 3 hours to shave my legs and everything. And, people say to me, so did you ever get off wearing women's clothes? And I went, oh no, I'm not sick. They go, putting on stockings and spent. I went, no, that wasn't my thing. It felt right, but I didn't get off on it. But when
you just wearing clothing.
Yes. And then so from there, took me to the doctors and got me on hormones. Then from there, when I started the hormones and I went, it was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I went, you know what? I know where I belong.
Yeah.
I really know where I belong in society and all that.
And that's what you want to be.
Yeah. And I went,
it all makes sense.
Yeah, it did. And then, taking those hormones, I was this girly ass and mincy pie and everything. And, I'd put on the makeup and it'd take me 3 hours to get ready just to go and get a loaf of bread. And I'd go skipping down. Here I have my yellow PE skirt on, my singlet and all that with my padded bra and my basket. Thought I was fucking Alice in Wonderland. I skipping down and bloody high heels and going to get like bread and people and short hair and big earrings and everyone's like,
trust me, we all do that. When we first started, we all have that.
So yes, I thought I was Mary Poppins, alright. Off I go ginning along. And I went, oh, what are all these people looking for? I couldn't understand. I thought, well, maybe the way I was dressing,
To get a loaf of bread.
But you have fun.
Yes. You get... Because Newcastle's very...
quite a small town.
Well, it's not small, but it's very BHP industrial area, so it's really ochre.
Okay.
Yeah. Men are like the type that would spit on you and then just root you, sort of things like very manly sort of stuff.
I find it so sexy.
Oh, so did I. So did I.
The animal instinct
already.
But so from there, Al and I stuck together, and then from there I met a few trannies and all that. Mm-hmm. Well, then Al and I sort of outgrew Newcastle. It was like Newcastle got too small for us because a lot of people were a bit envy of me because they just stuck at the gay place.
Yeah.
We didn't.
So you were going around.
We were going anywhere.
You're going places.
We were going places. We were like on a Tuesday night they'd have girls night only with the male strippers.
Oh, wow.
And I would be there for the girls only, and then after 10 o'clock at night they let the guys in. Well, I copped a couple of bashings there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because guys didn't know what we were and all that. So when they found out, they went, "Oh, you're a fucking freak," and belted us and all that.
Oh,
so back then, I played the game a bit.
Yeah.
And I said I got bashed a fair bit because back then no one knew about transsexuals and all that, but I played it up, a couple of times took guys home and didn't tell them the score and all that.
Yeah.
I had one guy one night, we were in bed and he's going around and all that, and he went, holy fuck. And he grabbed his clothes, didn't even put them on, and ran through the fly screen door.
Oh my
right
God.
Through it. And then I turned on the light and I went, oh, girl's another one that didn't know. And he's left his wallet behind. I went, oh, nice donation.
But I'm just wondering, so you never thought about, if they're gonna ask you?
Well, back then, no, because I always went back then, I went, oh, they can tell by the voice. But as I said, back then, when you're 18, 19, you have no fear.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're fearless.
You are. Yeah. And like I said, we went to some of the roughest nightclubs and pubs and all that. And what we always did, everywhere we went in Newcastle, you always get to know the bar staff, and the bouncers are your best friends. The bar staff will make you the best drinks, and the bouncers will look after you.
Yeah.
And so people would be there and they'd be whispering and carrying on and all that. And I just go, oh, get fucked. But I didn't let it. When they did that, I didn't not go back there. I kept going there and kept going there.
Oh, wow.
So I got to know him as a regular and all that.
Yeah.
And then there was one night, I said I was at one of the roughest clubs, and I'm talking to this guy, and there'd be people that'd go and trout. So this girl went over to this guy and told him what I was.
Mm.
And then the guy goes, oh, come on, let's go outside. So I went outside and he belled with me.
Oh, God.
And he goes, you're a fucking thing. He goes, you didn't tell me you were a bloke and all that. And I went, why should I? No,
Yeah,
we're not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So I come back inside and he come back in the nightclub, wanted to go with me again. Well, the bouncer got rid of him. So I'm in the toilet, and the girl comes in, she goes, oh, you shouldn't have told him, you should have... I said, oh, look, shut up, bitch. She goes, no, you should... I said, listen, are you jealous because I'm so beautiful he wanted me, not you? Well, she just kept going on. So I gave her 3 warnings. I said, get out of my face. She kept going on, and I went, listen, I've had enough of you. So I grabbed her by the hair, took her into the toilet, put her head in the toilet, flushed it, pulled it up, and I went, now fuck off.
So this is your sister fighting.
As I said, back then, that's when I learned, I just went, no one's ever going to hit me again. As I said, I did. And it was like once I become a girl, it was like I grew balls and I went, right, that's it.
Yeah.
And back then you had to protect yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sometimes things, when we become a girl, we become much more tougher
Confident
and
as well.
everything.
You do.
Yeah.
And that was like, Daryl's boyfriend worked at another straight nightclub. And we'd been going there, we'd go, to the gay place, and we'd go there afterwards because it was open later. And one night there, the manager came to us and said, oh, listen, we've had a few complaints about you using the girls' toilets.
Oh, really?
Can you start using the men's toilets?
Nonsense.
And we went, what? And they go, oh, can you start using the men's toilets? And we went, no, we can't. And I was just by 2 girls complaining. I went, oh, what are we doing? We're going into the toilet. We're not, doing anything.
Yeah.
So we went, right, we'll fix this. So we boycotted the place.
Oh.
One of the girls went to the newspaper about it. So got a big
Wow.
write-up about it. So we had it boycotted. And her boyfriend kept working there. Well, after a few months, the word got around. So the place didn't last really that long.
Oh, wow.
But that's the things that we did. We would go to places and all that, and we just went, no. And just like out of that scene in Pretty Woman, in Newcastle Mall, this shop that we was going to, buying dresses all the time. And like back then, expensive, like sort of ball gowns and all that.
Yeah. Princess Diana.
Yes.
Like one of this picture here.
Yes.
This is Newcastle?
Yes, that's Newcastle.
Okay, yes.
That
We
was
can see this is Princess Diana wedding dress.
Yes, that was a ball we went to. But we went into the shop, and they just went, oh, sorry, we can't serve you.
Straight away.
Straight away. They went, what?
I've never had that experience, never.
We went, we've got money. And went, sorry, we cannot serve you. I went, well, that was it. They fixed that shop.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like back then, you're nearly 20 and all that, we had no fears.
Yeah, I
So you
know.
just keep doing it. You're like, we'll go to another shop.
Went past that shop and went,
But so for the shop that actually accept your guys, so it's pretty friendly, things like that.
yeah, well, my money's just as good as anyone else, thank
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
It doesn't matter, what, are you going to stop a pregnant woman from coming in because she's pregnant or something? That is discrimination and all that. And back then we couldn't do all that because there was no laws.
Yes,
There's no discrimination. It was up to the shop owners and all that.
Yeah.
So back then, there was people before me that paved the way for us.
True.
But then there was me on our group that paved it for the next lot of people that
That's
come
true.
through.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Newcastle just got too small for us.
So you went to Sydney?
Well, we went to Sydney after the earthquake.
Oh yeah, the Newcastle
Newcastle.
earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard about that. What is Sydney like during those times?
Well,
Oxford Street, lots of gay people.
yeah, Oxford Street was Oxford Street. You felt safe and all that. We lived out in the suburbs and all that.
Because at the moment, Oxford Street mostly a commercial area.
Well,
the gay area feel like smaller and smaller.
Well, it
and
has
smaller.
now. Like nearly both sides of Oxford Street was all gay places, and now it's like
Yes, straight.
sort of like here in Melbourne now. Melbourne's gay scene has spread,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's fewer places. Well, Oxford Street, there's probably about 3 places that it's gay now. You got the taxi club that's gone. That was
Yeah.
our icon and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of places, they went straight and all that.
Yeah. True.
So that's all changed. But Sydney, I knew some of the girls from when they come up to Newcastle and did shows. So I knew them from there.
So, do you do show with them?
No, I did in Newcastle shows, and the only reason why I did shows in Newcastle was I was earning my keep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had like a Thursday night, a talent night.
Oh.
Not that I had talent. And the club that we went to, they let me run up a bill of drinking. So my way to get that bill down was to do a number or two.
Oh, wow.
So I'd be pissed to do the show. So I'd be there doing the show to get my tab down, but then booking it up and all that. And so I'd rehearse, make me costumes out of glad wrap. She made me,
Really?
She made me a dress out of glad wrap. Put it all around me and it comes swooshing down here. Then we cut it down the side and we stapled a zip into it.
Oh my god.
And to get into it, I had to put powder on. I look quite
Oh,
good.
because it gets sticky.
Yeah, I look quite good on stage and all that.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And you don't
But
have
this-
any pictures?
no, not no.
But those are what you call creativity.
Yeah. And now I lost, when I moved here, I lost all those photos of Newcastle and Sydney.
How come?
When I moved here, because I moved here with two suitcases.
Suitcases.
Everything was in storage and I lost everything in storage.
Oh, that's what I remember you told me. Because
Yeah.
you didn't. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about the show thing because the other day you post a picture for the pageant thing, and then you say something like oh my god, I wish this kind of things I have it when I'm younger,
Yeah, well,
because I think
Well,
Aussie are more into just doing shows, and
well
that's
they
all
are.
do.
Well, they are. Look. You look at the pageant. It's mainly Asians that do pageants, right? And you see all these pageants, and you think, well, why doesn't Australia have like beauty pageants? And if they can do it overseas,
Yeah.
why not have transsexual ones and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the trans people,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because trannies are discriminated so many ways. We don't have rights. You can't go into a female pageant because even though you look female and all that, they class you as a male.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you're not accepted to, even though you've got an F on your passport or whatever. Some people have. Some people have got lucky. It all depends where you're born.
Yeah.
There's changes, but the changes still very slow.
Very slow. And you know what? I think it won't happen in my lifetime.
Oh, don't say that.
I really don't. Look, we've progressed. We've
Yeah,
progressed.
No, I kind
Yeah.
of agree. I mean, that's how we feel, but
Yeah.
we're hoping that it will change. But
Yes,
I feel the same too.
Like a lot of things have changed now. A lot of things have changed now. I look back and I just go, oh God, how did I survive? How did I get,
true.
Yeah.
people won't say it to your face, oh no, we're not going to employ you because you're a bloke or whatever. But now they can't do that because it's discrimination. But back then, if you were a tranny, it's either you did shows or you was a prostitute.
Yeah.
Was a prostitute, that's the only way. Not too many people would give you a job and all, they'd give you a go.
There's a boy I know, he's the one I dream of. Looks into my eyes, takes me to the clouds above. Ooh. Oh, I lose control, can't seem to get enough. When awake from dreaming, tell me, is it really love?